Hi everyone and welcome back. Mindy with Mindy Eggen Design here, and I'm going to show you how you can use Copic coloring with heat embossing. So I'm going to be using some products from Pretty Pink Posh, and we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is stamp out my images. This is using the Decorative Ornaments stamp set from Pretty Pink Posh. I am choosing 3 of the ornaments, kind of keeping in the odd number as far as design of the card. So I'll go ahead and lay these down. This is using some Neenah Solar White cardstock, 80 pound. That is my personal preference for doing Copic coloring. It is kind of crucial to be using a stamping tool of some sort. I'm using the Misti tool, but any other stamping tool you have would work. My main thing is you want to be able to leave the stamps exactly where you have them. So I'm starting off by stamping these with some Simon Says Stamp black ink. This is Copic friendly so that I can color these with Copic markers. And I do go ahead and stamp them twice just to make sure I have a really nice crisp black line on my images. Once your images are stamped, you want to leave them in that Misti stamping tool. I am going to clean mine. I did that off screen, but make sure you clean it and then leave them right there. So I'm starting off with my Copic coloring. I am using this, one of my favorite green combinations. This is YG17 is the darkest, YG13, YG21, and YG00. I did find that this was easiest using a 4 color blend. I did lay down the YG00 first. I kind of laid in my lightest color. Then I came in with the YG17 and I put that, I kind of outlined the ornament and then gave a little bit more of that YG17 off on the right hand side, and then I'm blending out with the YG13 and the YG21. And my biggest thing here is I want to leave kind of a highlight area for a shine to be. And if you're not seeing it well enough, I have a trick that you'll be able to do to help bring that out a little bit more. And I do color all 3 of these on screen, so if you didn't quite catch it the first time here, we're going to go through it again. My trick is using this white colored pencil. It's hard to see with the green because I did pick out quite a light green color, but you'll see it here more on the red. So for the red, I'm laying down the R32 first. Then I'm coming in with the R59 and I'm doing kind of an outline around my entire bulb, bringing that out just a little bit more on the right hand side. Then I'm going to blend out with the R29, and on the left hand side of the bulb I'm not blending out a lot. I don't really want to bring that out. I'm just going over the R59, and then I'm coming in with the R39, and you can see there where I drew in a highlighted area. I want to leave that spot the lightest. And then I could blend out just a little bit with an R32 so it's not such a harsh line. And I do like to go over mine twice, so that's also personal preference. But that's how I get the deepest of shadows, is doing it twice. And then bringing in that white colored pencil, and you can see with the reds, that really pops and make it looks like there's a shine or a reflection type of look to it on that left hand side. And I'm going to color my blue bulb the exact same way. I did try to bring in the B000 first and lay in where I would have that shine. So it was just kind of experimenting which worked the best. And that's also up to you. If you find, color a few different bulbs, see which way works the best. If coloring it first all in the one layer works best, or if you want to bring in the lightest color and draw in or color in where that shine is going to be. And then I do go over the tops of my bulbs as well, just to give them some color. For that, I'm going to use a C7 and a C5. The C4 I listed below is if you didn't feel like you had enough depth on the right hand side, you could go over that with a light gray marker and that'll help you out. So this is where it's crucial to have these images or these stamps still in your Misti tool. I prepped my cardstock with an anti-static powder tool, made sure that my ink was nice and dry. And then I'm coming in with a clear embossing ink. I'm going to ink up these stamps. And this is going to stamp the images in the exact same place. So I'm going to be able to come in and heat emboss this with some gold embossing powder. So this is a really great way to be able to incorporate heat embossing with Copic colored images. You don't really want to color on top of the heat embossing with Copic markers. You could ruin your tips, and the alcohol ink does tend to eat away at the embossing powder. So this is a great way to get both of those techniques in there. And then I do go ahead and die cut these out with the coordinating dies, and I'm just using some sticky tape. I'll have it listed down below to hold those in place. Next up, I'm going to work on my background. So I'm taking a piece of Bristol smooth cardstock, and I have this trimmed down to 4 by 5 1/4. So this is the size that I'm going to use in my card. And I'm attaching that to this brick wall stencil, and I'm using some purple tape to do that. I like doing it this way, attaching the paper to the stencil, because then I can move this around however I want on my paper. And I'm coming in with Pumice Stone Distress Oxide ink with a jumbo dabber, and I'm just sporadically going around the card. I didn't want the entire thing filled in. I just kind of did spots. And then blend it off softly so it kind of fades off. And I can remove that stencil, clean that off. Next up, I'm going to work on my sentiment. So I'm using this super adorable little stamp set. This is the Happy Snowman stamp set from Pretty Pink Posh. And I'm just using that sentiment on there that says Happy Holidays. It's a simple font. It's small. And I'm just heat embossing this with white embossing powder onto some black cardstock, and I'll just brush off with a paintbrush any extra embossing powder that I'd stuck where I didn't want it to, and then I can just come in and heat that up. Next, to cut this into a little thin strip, I am using one of my favorite new dies. This is the Sentiment Labels die from Simon Says Stamp. This cuts a perfect sentiment strip label. There's many different sizes you can see there off on the side, and this one cuts this sentiment perfectly. And I'm also going to run this back through the machine. I'm going to line that die up so it cuts it so it's going to be even on each end. And I do this on my cutting plate just so that way I don't have to move it. When I do go, instead of doing it on my table, I do it on the cutting plate. I actually picked that up from Kathy Zilski, which I thought was a fabulous idea. And then I cut this perfect skinny sentiment strip. Next up, I'm going to start putting my card together. So I wanted to pop up that stencil background a little bit. So I'm using some craft foam, and I just put some double-sided adhesive on both the front and back side of that foam. And I can attach my card panel to one side, lining that up, making sure nothing sticks off the side. But if it does, you can come in with a pair of scissors and just trim off the excess. And then I can remove the backing on that and attach it to my card base, which measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So just line that up so it'll get a really nice white border around the edge. And it's nice and solid. If it goes through the mail, it's not going to get any bumps in it. Then I'm just going to come in and start aligning where I want my ornaments to go. Once I have that in place, I'm going to just use my tweezers and start working from the bottom up. So the first one I wanted glued down is the blue ornament, and I'm using the Simon Says Stamp Tacky glue to do this. It has a really nice fine tip on it, and it also is a really great glue. And then I can come in with the green ornament and attach that down. I wanted these to kind of be overlapping. So I just line that in place, give that a push. And then I can do the red ornament, and that's going to be the one in the front. I'm giving that a good push, and that'll stick down beautifully. To finish this off, I'm trimming down a piece of craft foam, and I just cut that into a really thin strip to fit behind my sentiment label. Trim off any excess, and then I can attach that right in the middle on top of my ornaments. So I was really excited how this card came together. This is also a great way to color up these ornaments if you don't want to spend too much time with all the detail. This is another great way to color these up. I'm also including in this and on my blog kind of a color combo Pinterest board that you can save for later if you want to look at those Copic coloring combos again. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would appreciate a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. You can also click the little bell icon and you'll get notified whenever I post new videos. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll catch you next time.